Hey YouTube, this is Sasquatch Piper back here puffing on my Mark Twain. You can tell it's got some use, and in it I'm trying a new backy. It's the stuff that I found out that Sutliff does for Walgreens, just for Walgreens. Blender's Gold. I'm smoking the Royal Cherry Cavendish, and I'm not gonna say a whole lot about it right now. Just been smoking it. I know it's a little wet, so I've been sitting some out in a baggie with the Ziploc bag open overnight. A little dry it out a little bit. It helped. It's not a bad smoke, but that's another video. I'm gonna do a review on it sometime. Today I'm just gonna kind of tell you a little bit about, my childhood. What brings it on is, I'm just really not sure about our government and how where our country's heading, and me and my brother had a rough time growing up, but I'm kind of glad now that I'm 45 years old. I look back and I learned a lot as a child. Had a quick childhood up to about 5th grade. Things were good. My dad was a hard-working man. He worked for Brandeis. He was a diesel mechanic. He was before then he was a jet mechanic in the Air Force, and he was a damn good mechanic. Brandeis took his schooling a little further. When my dad passed away, me and my brother found a bunch of his diplomas where they sent him to this place and that, and hard-working men. Don't need that. But little shorts. Long story made short, he within about, I say, 2 years, he had 2 heart attacks, one massive heart attack and one that wasn't as bad but still pretty bad. Back surgery 2 times. He had 4 discs taken out of his back, and then something went wrong. I was little, I'm not sure. Some infection built up around the incision. They had to go back in, scrape his spine, and get all that infection off. To say the least, my dad was down for almost a year in the bed. We went from things being really, really good to really bad quick. And luckily, we had a river camp down on the Big Bayou just past Griffin, Indiana. You'll pass it on 64 if you're heading anywhere near Carmel, Illinois, Grayville, Illinois, or Griffin, Indiana. In between there, you'll see it. The Big Bayou runs across winds and snakes across land from one part of the Wabash River and empties off into the other part of the Wabash River. And in the middle of that, we had a river camp. And if it wasn't for that, we'd probably have been homeless. I tell you, from about age 10 to age 12, which is just a couple of years, but things got really bleak. But I look back at it now, and I'm kind of thankful for it. it taught me some stuff quick. We lived, like I said, in a river camp where you had no running water, just a well on the side outside. You had to pump water, but it was some of the best water you'll ever taste. And an outhouse. No other place to go to the bathroom but an outhouse. We had an old wood burning stove. Keep warm with. I mean, it was almost like we went back to the 1800s. We had to cut wood. Me and my brother, every day from after school, we cut wood. My job was to cut up the kindling and get water for Mom to cook with. But man, when we weren't doing any chores, we had the best place in the world to fish. That big bayou river was full of some of the biggest bass you'll ever see. We had plenty of woods, man. Woods would go on for miles and miles and miles. I have no idea how many acres of woods that were around there, but some interesting times in my life as a child. And me and my brother, we were pretty much the men of the house, you know. We had to make sure we had meat, you know, rabbits, squirrels, fish, plenty of fish. My mama would go to the store when she could. We had an old 77 Ford pickup truck, full-wheel drive. We made sure we had plenty to eat. My mama was a damn good cook and could cook anything. When we finally got out of that, which I look back and we had a good time. It wasn't all work and no play, but I learned a lot. Moved to Griffin, Indiana. When I was about to say we moved into town, but it wasn't that big of a town. But it was a good town. I liked Griffin, Indiana. And that's about that time. About 2 years had passed, and my daddy was finally getting better. And we put out gardens and still did a lot of hunting together. My daddy wasn't going to let that get him down. And he just couldn't work anymore. He filed for disability. Finally got it. And things kind of started looking up a little bit. But those days we put out a garden, Mama canned, you know. So, I mean, we grew anything but tobacco, I think. I said all that to tell you this. I think things are going to get worse before it gets better in this country. And you better know how to take care of yourself, you and your family. So if you don't know any of those things, man, I suggest getting on YouTube and finding out. I suggest getting books and finding out. You know that song, Country Boy Can't Survive by Hank Jr.? Well, this country boy can survive. And I tell you, it wasn't until we hit rock bottom that, you know, that old saying, you know, you don't know. I mean, man, I look back at it and it's probably the best thing that ever happened to me. that was our rock bottom. You know, you look up. Only thing you can do is look up from there and move on. You learn together as a family, and you work together as a family, and you get her done. And I'm telling you, it's going to get to a point. I hope not, but I have this feeling it's going to get to a point where you're going to need to know them skills. Kind of worries me because I know a lot of folks out there that were gonna struggle because they got it way too easy in their life right now. Didn't mean this video to be all bleak, but I just trying to, give some warning out. Have a smoke with you. Tell you a little bit about my childhood. But here I have rambled on for 11 minutes and a half. But man, it's important that if you don't have any of those skills, you get them quick. And we might, I might even start having to grow my own tobacco. Who knows? But well, like I said, I've rambled on long enough. You guys have a good day and keep her smoking.